I'd like to reflect on the past year. I know for a lot of people, 2020 was a rough time. Things didn't really change for me. I've always worked from home, so that didn't change. My wife, she did start working from home, so there's a little bit of an adjustment there. But overall, 2020 was a good year for us. The reason I say that is because it was a year for us to kind of slow down and reflect on our relationships with each other, ourselves, and more specifically, God. My wife and I realized that we claimed to be Christians, however, we didn't really understand what that meant. We had a chance to finally get into the Bible, reflect on things, and realize that what we thought was Christianity and what the Bible was were two different things. So out of that, we've been able to reflect on ourselves a little bit more and become what we feel truly is a Christian. In that time frame, we've studied more, we've been in the Bible more, and also realized as well that our church wasn't lining up with what we saw as theology from the Word. There were some issues that we saw there, so we prayed on it and decided to move churches. And that's actually happened within the last couple months. We really enjoy where we're at now. We feel like they read from the Bible and they, what they call expository. So, they read script from there or a verse from there and then they expand on it. Now, me being a baby Christian, as I like to call myself, I feel it's very important for me to have that solid foundation. That way, one of the biggest concerns I've always had is the false doctrine that's out there. What I fell prey to for the last 10 years or so, thinking that I was being a Christian, but realizing that I was falling into some false ways, and I need to make sure that I stay solid with my foundation. So my relationship with God out of all of this has really strengthened. I'm still working on things, but I feel like where I am today, where I was a year ago, is night and day. I'm more involved with church. I have more fellowship with some men that is helping me learn and strengthen my faith in God and my trust. That's also opened up some things about me personally. I do struggle with relationships with people in general, especially the ones that are close to me. I get frustrated easily, and I need to kind of learn to have some patience and take a step back and try to learn to read it from everybody's perspective all the way around me and work on having a little bit of empathy as well. I do feel that if I were to take some time to myself and reflect a little bit on some of the things that I need to do with myself, it would expand and help greatly in the relationships that I have around me, especially the people I care most about that are directly in contact with me. I do feel that my relationship with God has strengthened, and because of that, that is also helping my relationships here while I'm on this world. One of the verses that I'd like to pull out that actually we went over last night in one of my men's groups was Ecclesiastes 4:9. Two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. For if either of them falls, the one will lift up his companion, but woe to the one who falls when there is not another to lift him up. Keep him warm, but how can one be warm alone? And if one can overpower him who is alone, two can resist him. And the part that I really liked the most was a cord of 3 strands is not quickly torn apart. Meaning that in all of our relationships, if we keep God in the center of them, it will make that relationship stronger and that bond greater. And I'm really working at trying to, in my relationships with other people, is try to have God centered in there. like I stated earlier, 2020 was a big year for us. I'm hoping 2021 is going to be an even greater year for us as I learn to understand the word more, get more involved with this church, as well as create some more fellowship amongst men and other couples. As far as relationships within the class, well, obviously we know that that's tough. We're all online right now. In the discussions, yes, it is nice to see some of the other people respond back to some of my messages. I'd like to respond back to them, but I don't really feel like that gives a relationship of sorts. I'm one of those people that, even though I'm an introvert, I would much rather be face to face with you having a conversation than doing a discussion over a forum. I do live my life in forums for my job, learning some of the technical things that I need to do, but I don't feel that creates a relationship with people. So I don't really feel like I have created a bond or any kind of relationship with any of the people in the class. I think we're all here just to do the work that we need to do and move on. So that's a little bit about how I feel about my relationships. Obviously, as you can tell, I'm really working at making sure things are God-centered as much as possible. And I'm going to continue to do that. So, thank you.